Chapter 1. Introduction. So you've decided that you want to start a martial arts school. Congratulations. Teaching martial arts is fun and exciting, and it provides an important service to communities. At first glance, it may seem like starting a martial arts school would be simple, but there's more to it than you might think. Doing some planning and thinking ahead about your martial arts school will help you keep things organized as you make your way through the process. The idea of starting a martial arts school may sound like a lot of fun, but there's a lot of work involved too. The business side of martial arts can take a lot of time, and you need to be prepared to deal with this aspect of your business. Whether you're starting a small school or a big school, you still need to contend with things like marketing and bookkeeping. Don't underestimate the amount of time these things will take. It's better to factor in the time you're going to need to spend on these activities rather than be overwhelmed by it later. Making it profitable and having fun. One of the important things you'll need to think about when you decide to start working toward opening a martial arts school is how your martial arts style will fit into the community or the surrounding neighborhood. If you're teaching a grappling sport, will be viewed as complementary or competition with local school wrestling programs, for example. If you're planning to teach Kung Fu or Aikido, do you intend to allow young students to join in, or will these classes primarily focus on adults? These questions are important because if you're hoping to turn a profit with your martial arts school, you may have to make different choices about the way you set things up to actually accomplish those goals. Some communities will be more likely to enroll very young students under the age of 6 years, while other communities will be more apt to enroll kids 7 years old and up, or adults. Though teens often do really well in martial arts, it's rare for teen students to stick to martial arts classes for very long unless parents are extremely supportive. If you're in a bigger city, it's likely that you'll end up with a mix of different people in different age groups, but in smaller towns you may find that you have 20 young kids in a class and only 2 people over age 7 to work with, or vice versa. If you have a dream of teaching people cool moves while making extra cash, you could be disappointed if all your students are under 6 years of age. You'll need to adjust your expectations to work with the people who end up coming to you for instruction. Be ready for anything. When you teach martial arts, you never know who's going to show up for each night of class. Some nights you may have a full room, while other nights the crickets might be chirping. You're going to need to be able to get up in front of big and small groups and teach your martial arts without flinching. When you have small classes, you can spend your time working one-on-one with students. When you have big classes, you can work off the large group dynamic to make it fun and challenging. Though it would be most satisfying to have a large group of committed students who would work on the material regularly at home and progress quickly through the ranks, often it takes time to find truly committed students. Sometimes these students will be the ones you least expected to stick to your classes. This is why you need to be ready for anything when you start a martial arts school. Make goals. As you're beginning the planning phase for your martial arts school, you'll want to make goals to help guide you through the ups and downs of finding a location, setting things up, marketing, and waiting for students to arrive for class. It's important as a martial arts instructor that you're always trying to help your students surpass you in skill and knowledge. Always strive to be the best martial artist that you can be, but don't be intimidated by the idea that one of your students could become better than you are at your own art. Think about taking pleasure in your students' accomplishments and recognizing them rather than trying to show a classroom full of people that you're the best. The most practical aspect of the martial arts is its functionality in self-defense situations. However, many martial arts schools focus more on competition than on street-style self-defense. You'll need to decide what your goals are for your students in order to steer them in the right direction. Sometimes competition is instructive, but rarely does it truly represent actual self-defense scenarios. Having goals that are focused on winning competitions means that you're going to be training your students hard, doing conditioning, and probably requiring them to attend class more than once a week. In contrast, martial arts that focus on self-defense tend to focus less on conditioning and more on pragmatics. Getting started. It's easy to think about starting a martial arts school, but there's a lot involved in actually doing it. If you're ready to get started, then you'll need a notebook and pen to keep things organized as you put together the materials you need to make it happen. It's usually best to open a martial arts school in the spring or in the fall because people tend to enroll more frequently during these times. Though you'll still have new students who start martial arts classes in midsummer or winter, hopefully, people often get busy or have trouble making it to classes due to inclement weather during these times. So set your sights on opening your martial arts school sometime in the spring or fall. You're ready to get going and start putting things in order for your new martial arts school.